Welcome to the Seraphine podcast. I'm Seraphine Arocha, and I'm here today again with the beautiful Chelsey Attia. Hello.
Hi, birthday girl.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh my God, 40 freaking 4. I just got back from an amazing trip in Tulum, and just loving life right now. I feel like 40s is like the best time, and it's getting close to housewife age. So
there you go. You're thriving. So I'm excited for 40
I
someday.
I love it. Well, we're gonna jump right in with Two Truths and a Lie, episode 2 of this season. It starts out with the pretty mess herself, Miss Erika, kind of packing for the big Tahoe trip. And let me tell you, those racks of clothes, I mean, that alone, that robe, the snake robe.
Yes.
I mean, I just got back from Tulum and everything is snakes and like jewelry wrapping around you that are snakes. So I saw that robe and I was like, girl, that should be mine. That was amazing. I love her team, and like you're seeing all the excitement for the trip, and then oddly enough, Sutton shows up.
Random.
It was a little.
She's just a little random in general.
She is a little random in general, and I kind of thought that her and Erika would get along because of the whole they play with that Southern kind of riffraff between them. But Sutton's kind of awkward around Erika. I feel like she tries very hard to fit in. You know.
I think that Erika, though, would be a very intimidating person, and she's someone that you kind of seek her approval because she has this very strong and dominating type of energy. And you're like, okay, you're cool, and I feel so uncool being near you.
It's
especially
so true.
Sutton.
I mean, Sutton they were talking about, flying and like all of the things that are kind of the check marks of cool. Like I flew private. Yeah. I want to live in the Hancock area versus Bel Air area.
Right. Yeah.
And the story about the helicopter got really sideways because she was talking about how she was on a private plane with a helicopter pilot. And I'm like, okay, where are you going with this story? Yeah. And then he got a blowjob by a porn star called a knobber. And I was like, I just felt like she was just throwing that story in to make their little meeting like less awkward. And she brings all that food in a basket to her. Yeah. Which doesn't strike me as like Erika's going to crush a food basket.
Right.
But I guess it's her Southern girl in her.
That's true. She's definitely the persona of Southern Belle.
Totally. Yeah. And then the end, she kind of awkwardly, after they kind of trade real estate stories of, well, I'd move here or there. Then there's this like weird thing. She's like, I've got a little pretty mess inside of me. And the scene ends. And I'm like, but do you, Sutton? Your pretty mess is a little different from Erika's pretty mess. But, I don't know. I feel like her pretty mess is going to be blown up here pretty soon.
I think so too. I think so for sure.
Oh my God. So then we go into the dun Kyle and Garcelle lunch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What were your thoughts as this started out?
Again, very awkward. I think Kyle likes to be friends with everyone. So I think this Garcelle situation really threw her for a loop. And so she's really wanting to mend it. And Garcelle is really kind of with Kyle and Lisa kind of making it harder for them. She says when in a meeting with Lisa, actually, maybe it was the meeting with Kyle, that she forgives people too easily. So she kind of has to, Kyle kind of said, I feel like you're torturing me. And she's like, yeah.
Oh, that was with Renna. This one was actually really heartbreaking. This was the one where, she addressed with Kyle.
Yeah.
You called me out about not paying for the charity. Basically, she was contacted at the wrong address to pay for the bid that she had towards
the charity.
The charity. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because, she said to her, would you have called out your white friends?
Yeah.
And I think immediately Kyle in her head, I mean, we know Kyle would have called out any of those women.
Right. She 100%. She didn't have any intentions of doing that.
Yeah.
Like specifically.
I think the hard part was that they had started out on a rocky road of a relationship, because Kyle really loves to be like a kidder. Like she's always like, they showed scenes of her like climbing under Garcelle's skirt and trying to be all buddy with her right out the gate with Denise. And Denise and Garcelle are quite serious.
They are.
They're not, they don't really come to play and screw around.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning. You can tell that they've got a lot of walls built up.
Yeah.
I think they both have very public marriages with divorces. And to ease into this show with the confidence of a Kyle or a Rinna is just hard. You're a little bit more on guard.
I think so too. Yeah. Also trying to gauge the whole situation in general, like being on a reality show and what do I want people to see? What do I want to hide? That sort of thing. So I think with Kyle being so... She jokes a lot. She's very vulnerable in doing that. And I think that kind of attributes to Garcelle being a little more guarded anyways.
Well, and Garcelle joked at the charity event about like them being her close friends, or are they really? And it was a joke, but because she's a black woman, there is the stereotype, and Garcelle put it out there, of the angry black woman. Right. She's like, well, then I've always been nice, and kind of turning the other cheek. And she gave that great example about being at the restaurant and not receiving good service. Mm-hmm. But then, if she doesn't tip, then she looks like, the black woman who's not, paying for her meal.
Yeah, totally.
So it was a good conversation. I liked actually to see Kyle uncomfortable. Yeah. If you saw the camera angles, Kyle was like nodding her head, like doing all the things that you do to show like, I'm listening. Yeah. She shut her mouth and listened. And I think she learned her lesson. I really do.
I do too.
And you know what? Good on Kyle, because Kyle can get pretty defensive,
Yeah, she can.
So we've got the next scene, which is introducing Crystal. Mm-hmm. Crystal is like an awesome surprise. I loved seeing her pop star, Chinese pop star brother, who's like being an uncle at the house.
Kind of crazy. But when she came in episode 1, I was a little like, I hope that she brings more, because I could tell, it was her first episode, so obviously she would be a little bit more like understated and things, but I really loved her, started liking her in this episode, and then really in the next episode.
It was a great introduction. I loved how they brought Lucy in, her house manager. Yeah. I was like, maybe they need to do a spinoff of the real house managers or nannies of Beverly Hills, because you know that these people hear everything. And I love that she gives Lucy, her house manager, gives her like some crap about, how many shoes she's ordering. It's just super cute.
It is. She seems like I just really like, she kind of has a dry sense of humor too.
Totally.
And I love that.
And her calling her kids out of like, like when, she's like, don't ask your grandma for, don't be too, over the top. And the kid's like, under $2,000.
I know.
It was so nuts. I was like, if I was ever at age 8 or 9 being like under $2,000, my parents would be like, rah.
I didn't even know what $2,000 meant at that age.
Oh my God. So then, Garcelle gets a lot of time here because she's got not only her conflict with Kyle, but then with Rinna.
Right.
And they have this like little like moment before boarding on the plane, because awkwardly Garcelle's the first one there.
They do this again in Tahoe, where it's just them two ready.
Yeah.
In episode 3, I'm like, what is up with them just having to be together this whole time?
Yeah, I could feel it, and it was so funny because when Kyle comes in with her amazing outfit, by the way, that hat and those boots and her Hermes bag.
She's really stepped up her style game.
Oh, she looked amazing, but she kind of, helped dilute the awkwardness. But I love how each of the women come in, make their entrance. Yeah. I am wearing Dorit's Louis Vuitton sweatshirt, except in gold. I was like, I got the same outfit as Dorit. But she looks so cute. She's Louis Vuitton out on this freaking trip.
Yeah, she had the black Louis pants too.
Yeah, she was adorable. Mm-hmm. So then, they're all kind of having that conversation about Tahoe. I loved everybody's like reaction to Tahoe. Some people liked it. Like Kyle was like, oh, it's really beautiful. Yeah. Like Erika was like,
it's not her vibe anyways.
Not at all. And then freaking Dorit, she's like, it's like Lugano in Switzerland. I was like, oh my God. She like takes everything up a notch.
She does. She is the definition of bougie.
Oh my God. And then we get them into the house, 17,000 square feet.
You want to know fun fact? Kardashians also rented that exact same house for their episode that premiered last night.
No way.
Same house.
interesting. I love this. They probably like market it as the house that the reality stars go to. Yeah. It was a really epic house.
Oh my gosh, the view was incredible.
It was insane. And I love how it had like a million different rooms. They even have their own bar and pools indoors. It was crazy. What did you think about the whole little section about Kyle and Kathy kind of reconnecting after all of that American Woman TV show thing she did?
To be honest with you, after I kind of saw Kathy in a different way before she was on the show. Like I had like a preconceived notion of like who I thought she'd be, and she's totally different being on the show. I don't see her getting mad at anyone, so I'm a little surprised that they had a tiff, but I'm so glad that they were able to move past it. And I think it's cute that Kyle's kind of protective of Kathy and this girls trip, because Kathy hadn't ever been on a girls trip before. She talks about how she's been to all these amazing places, but she always does it with her husband. So this is her first all girls trip. Yeah. Which I thought was interesting, and she goes with her sister and stuff. I think I really like it. I love when sisters and siblings and stuff are close.
And I love hearing that her nickname was Doogie. At first I thought it was Dookie. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that is hella mean, but Doogie, I guess I can handle.
I still don't understand Doogie, to be honest.
I don't understand a lot of what Kathy does. She's just like on her own planet. She's on her own freaking planet.
I know where Paris gets it now.
Oh, totally. I mean, she is out there. I love that one thing I do have in common with Kathy Hilton is she likes to sleep with a fan.
Yes, but she sleeps so late.
I know.
11 a.m.
She's a nutcase. I mean, I love that she had like a full-on black mask over her face. And then we end this with this kind of like fish meal that Kyle burns. Yes. And then, I don't know, just kind of, again, exploring these... There's so many different age ranges here, because there's 9.5-year age difference between Kathy and Kyle. And then with Sutton and Crystal, it's not, I don't think it was 12 years. It was a little bit shorter.
It was 12, but what's funny is...
She tried to make it 20 years. That's what she said.
And the Real Housewives put like a little asterisk at the bottom that says... Crystal is 12 years younger than Sutton.
It really, that 10-year age difference is so funny how I see a lot of younger people that I'm friends with, how they jump like 10 or 11 to 20. I'm like, no. You got to at least get to 15 before you loop me in as 2 decades older than you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but we get we get some interesting stuff in this episode. I feel like it ends after the fish meal with the conversation, like the everyone kind of splits up and goes to bed, but like the last remaining people are Kyle, Crystal, and Sutton. Right. And we have this really awkward exchange.
Yeah, Crystal is like designated bartender. Kyle's like, make me a drink. It seems like it's going to be like a really like fun interaction, just super low key. And then I don't remember how it gets brought up, but probably the Garcelle, they were talking about Garcelle and Kyle's interaction, their conversation, and Kyle's like, I'd never meant it that way, and Sutton's like, I know you didn't mean that way. And then Crystal, being a person of color, she's like, she kind of stands up for, I kind of understand where Garcelle's coming from, and she says something to Sutton that's like, tell me you're the girl that
sees no color.
Oh. And that just pisses Sutton off.
You can totally tell that Sutton's been trying to qualify herself, even though she came into last year as this rich, like she's exorbitant. I mean, she's the type of person that pushes her wealth down your throat. But then she backs it up and she does the whole like, I worked at Starbucks, you know, when they do the 2 truths and a lie. Yeah. And that was really interesting to see who really went there. Like Crystal, I thought was a badass. She went there. She gave up some information about
like, whoa.
I mean, like the call girl stuff was like, woo. I mean,
Erika too.
Yeah. But Erika,
in Erika's way, always mysterious. We still don't know which one's the truth.
Totally.
Or which one's the lie.
It was an interesting thing. And I love how Rinna, of course, couldn't really come up with anything, even though I'm like, woman. But she's such an open book that I'm like, well, maybe it wouldn't be that interesting. And then Kathy. her 3 truths.
Yeah, she's just a little.
She's out there. But anyway, this was a really interesting episode. I liked how we got to know a little bit more about Crystal. I do think that the topics of discussion, Bravo in general, really needs to have the race discussion, because they were criticized a lot in the last year, not only with this show but Vanderpump Rules, with just how they were treating kind of the whole, it's under the rug, or they kind of treated it kind of generically. And having these direct conversations allows for Bravo to step up their game and enter into this time that we're in, where again, we can't be colorblind like the Counting Crows would like us all to be. So well, thank you guys for watching this episode. We're going to be discussing episode 3, so keep watching, click subscribe, and with Seraphine Podcast, we'll see you next time around with episode 3.